Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. It's just me again. It's just me again. Hopefully, like it. Let me know. Let me know. But it's just me again. We have a really great topic today. Very excited. Um, Welcome to another Good Gut Live. One of the benefits of watching Good Gut Live is if you're watching live, you get to interact live. So that's always great. And if you're watching this later, thank you for watching. Welcome to Good Gut Live. This is a Good Gut Live podcast episode if you're watching this later. So that's great as well. Today's topic: can we fix our food system? There's so much. As I'm talking about this live, it's October 18th. And if you're watching this later, hope it's not too far in the future. It's usually not, but really, really big talk about our food system, really big talk about additives in food. We're going to get into the good, the bad, the confusing, all of it, answer your questions. You know, for those that don't know, my name is James Marin. I'm an integrative registered dietitian, environmental nutritionist, the co-founder of Married to Health, which is an integrative dietetics private practice. Why I'm here, why we even have our practice is because of the crazy food system. So quick story time. We're not going to get into like the entire food system. That We'd be here for hours. I mean, there's great documentaries, there's great resources if you really want to dive deep. But this will just be an overview, and I just want to make a few points. We'll get into food babe, we'll get into additives, we'll get into like people saying kind of some negative things about it. And with us, we're not sexy, right? We don't do the fear mongering. We try not to do the crazy, headlines. Um, we don't really fight with people or argue with people. That's not us. Okay. What we like to do is just give the context and give our experience, our perspective that is rooted in evidence, that is rooted. I mean, we like to think we're a healthy balance of the spiritual, physical, chemical, all the different categories, right, of life, where, life isn't just about, the best nutrition. Life isn't just about finances. Life isn't just about being the best or knowing everything. Like, it's a healthy balance of all those things, and we try to be that balance. So that's where we try to come from. I speak for Dahlia, but definitely speaking for myself in this go around. Like I said, we will be answering your questions, so that'll be great. um, and if not, great, you're just gonna hear kind of what I have to say. But I want to get into the idea that, it's no, I don't think anyone is really arguing that our food system isn't broken, right? That we don't have problems. Clearly something is wrong. I think we can all agree to that. No matter if you're a doctor, a dietitian, if you're a policymaker, I would like to think, I mean, really there's clear evidence that something is wrong with our food system. And so our food system right now is highly industrialized, mechanized. It's run by large, depending how aware you are, much of the food we are producing is produced by large multinational corporations, right? They've bought up family farms, they've bought up smaller brands. Just recently, I think we commented on our last episode on this of Siete Foods. It's a great gluten-free brand. They use cassava, and they're just a different brand. I think we first heard about them, oh my gosh, it's been like 8 years ago, I want to say, something like that. And great brand. And they got bought for like 1.3 billion, I think 1.2 or 1 point, somewhere around there, 1.2, 1.4, somewhere in that area, billion, which is crazy. Like, to start, a brand from nothing, to start a food company from nothing and then get bought out. Wow. So that's what happens. I mean, just multiply that over the decades. It's larger brands buying smaller brands. Okay. And what I want to do is kind of, we'll go through this. I want to show some videos, and then at the end, yeah, just what can you take away from this? What are some action items? What's going on with our food system, and then what can you take away? But like I said, I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind. Our food system is not optimal. It's not, optimal to health. It's not optimal even to really just everyone getting the best quality possible. And again, for a lot of reasons. Watch any documentaries out there of Michael Pollan's work. There's just so many great resources out there to get deeper into our food system. Okay. So we know our food system has issues. Why is that? And I want to give our perspective where it's really when you set the goal. And this is where it's important when you're setting a goal that will dictate everything else that follows. For example, when it comes to the food system, if the goal was the most food for the most profits for these companies, we're doing an A plus job. Right? So that's the which that is the goal. That is the goal of the US food system is to maximize food production and maximize profits. In that scope, we are doing great. We have an A plus food system in that scope. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is that's not all that matters, right? Is just producing lots of food and maximizing profits. Those are not metrics that we as a society should focus on. That's really it, guys, right? That is the essence of this of like what's wrong with our food system? Why is it that, well now there's no longer really dollar menus with inflation, but you know, generally you can get fast food cheaper. You can get a prepared meal of fast food cheaper than a prepared meal somewhere else, right? And it's like, why is that? Like if we go to an Indian restaurant or we go to like True Food Kitchen that's organic and locally sourced and sustainably raised, a plate of food that's organic and has tons of veggies is going to be at least like 20 something dollars plus tax and tip and all that versus a plate of food at like Chick-fil-A, right? Yes, the restaurant higher quality food is going to be more expensive. Why is that? Well, because these are the goals of our food system. Our the food system goals is maximum output, maximum profits. So that's really, I think we can all agree that should not be the goal of our food system. And what we have to do is marry the idea that food system is not just a business. Our food is not just a commodity. Our food is not just an item that someone is using to make money. Our food is our health. Our food is our freedom. Our food is our well-being. Our food provides for our future generations, including kids. So food is much bigger than just this. It's not like microchips, right? But I guess someone could argue microchips really help, but everything in society helps. And I am for capitalism overall. That's a whole nother discussion that we can get into. But to stay focused on this, food is much more than like microchips or gold or like, whatever other commodity, right? Food is way more special. It's way deeper. It's more density there. So really we have to change our goal with food, right? And so it's this idea I want to show. This clip came to mind. This clip came to mind. I want to show this really quickly. When I was thinking of this, because I'm like, yeah, it's so interesting. And you guys probably know. I want to switch this view though. There we go. Let's see.
Ever done before. Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
That's it. Your scientists are so preoccupied with if they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. I want to play that again because it's one of my favorite. Wait, did I? Let's see.
Preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Yeah. So, man, that's a big Jurassic Park fan here. Shout out Jurassic Park. But if you guys remember that from the original Jurassic Park, where basically they're showing like, okay, we got the science to clone dinosaurs, and we're gonna make these dinosaurs and we're gonna commoditize them, right? We're gonna sell them, we're gonna slap a sticker on them, welcome to Jurassic Park, pay me a ticket and make tons of money. It's kinda like, I mean, it's great. We had noble goals, right? Let's industrialize food and make food cheaper and feed people. And I think what do they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? We had all these great intentions, and I think that's wonderful. And so, but did we stop to kind of think and like catch our breath and go, wait a minute, are these the goals maximize output and maximize profits, or is there more to that, right? And I think that's what we all have to stop and think about and really reflect on. And, you know, I don't know, likely you're a patient of ours listening to this, or you're someone who's seeking health knowledge. If you are someone in a decision making position, think about this, right? Like, I don't know who this is going to reach, in particular, but typically it's someone in our community. And I will show you how you as an individual have the power for sure, but especially for someone who owns a food business, who owns a restaurant, or even is part of a larger company that either logistically or processes or grows food. It's really thinking about this, guys. And so I am making a point here, okay? I will get to this point because this is a huge beast. And what they say is it's great once we need to turn, but imagine you're on this massive ship. It's like 2,000 times bigger than the Titanic. In order to make a 180 turn, it's going to take a wide and slow turn, right? This is a massive system that we've been building. This is a massive, massive ship, our food system, that we've been building for a very long time. So even when we realize, oh, something's wrong and we start to turn, it takes a lot of time. And that gets to the point where I'm sure you've heard of the whole Kellogg's drama going on, and Food Babe has done this before. Shout out Food Babe, and all of those. And like Callie Means is on Joe Rogan, and like you're hearing all these great people, and shout out to a lot of people beforehand, even like 50 years ago, pointing this out. Shout out to like Upton Sinclair, right? Like for those of you that don't know Upton Sinclair, let me pull it up. Um, I should have had that up. Uh, Shout out to the jungle, which, if you want more proof that this has been going on for a long time, um, the jungle was a book. And I'll throw this up. I'm not a fan of Wikipedia, but it'll give me a good date. So I'm gonna show you guys this because this has been a topic for a very, very long time. Okay. And for those of you just listening, I threw up The Jungle, which is a book by Upton Sinclair, and it was really showcasing the horrible conditions of really just factories, but especially the meat industry. And so this was published February 26, 1906. So really at the turn of the century, at really when this was very, very new. Um, this was getting into this idea of the meat packing industry and us mechanizing things and industrializing things. This goes back at a time in history when child labor, and this goes into like unions, and people were just mistreated. The meat industry was part of that, where we need more meat, we need more chicken and sausage, and so we're just trying to systemize, mechanize, but again with the goal of maximizing output and maximizing profit. It wasn't like a goal to be like, are our workers healthy? Is the product we're putting out safe? So that's where the FDA came into play, and that's where government had to step in and go, wait a minute, there's tons of bacteria in this, or you can't, defecate where you're trying to process meat, right? So it got into all this what we now see as common sense, but there was a time where, and really there's for a long time this has been an issue of really, again, companies having the goal of maximizing output, maximizing profit, but instead, or they should layer on saying maximizing human well-being. And really, really to take that even further, and what we're coining and others have coined is regenerative nutrition. So it speaks to regenerative nutrition, meaning the food products we make are going to enhance human health as well as enhance the environment, whether that's the factory, the farm, and the local urban or wherever this product is being sold. This product is going to help you nutritionally as well as help the environment, which is all of that. Like I mentioned, that is regenerative nutrition. That is where we're kind of moving. Okay, ideally, at least some companies more than others. Um, so a lot there. I mean, we can just leave it there and talk just on that. So definitely a lot there. But you know, uh, I'm seeing this. Courtney, what's up, Courtney? Yes, I'm so happy this big ship is turning. Yeah, I mean, we're trying to turn, and this goes then to then what you're seeing, right? You're hearing the food babe kind of call out, um, kind of call out what's happening, kind of calling out big food companies that's her niche. That's what she's been doing for a very, very long time. She's calling out Kellogg's right now, and they don't like it. And I get it. As Kellogg's, you've been around for a long time. I went to a school. I went to Cal Poly Pomona, who has a lot of grants from Kellogg's. This is much bigger, than we think. Um, and it goes back to like, she's talked about so many things for so many years, and whether you like her or you don't like her, you do have to appreciate the fact that she is bringing attention to a lot of issues, um, that's going on. So I'm gonna show you. Like, I'm gonna see. Like, yeah, just to pop this up. Like, um, this is, I think, one of the new. Don't let Kellogg get away with this crime. Keep pressure on. So it's really just putting pressure on Kellogg's. Really, with the fact, and what she's pointing out is the fact that in the European Union, the EU, there are ingredients, or I should say less ingredients in the same products versus the American version. I wonder if she has a picture on here, but she's been talking about this. So many others been talking about this. There's tons of pictures going around, but it's this idea that, hey, the food should be the same, minimize ingredients, minimize food additives, minimize um, processed food additives, artificial colors. Okay. Okay. That's good. What's the problem with that? What's the problem? Well, this is where, just like in any topic, you'll get some pushback. So I also want to show just some of the pushback, right? Um,
You're all falling for this. This is priceless.
I'm here for all Americans who don't know the truth about our food industry. This is a monumental moment. We are going to march to Kellogg's to deliver over 400,000 voices and demand they meet with us. It's time for Kellogg's to do the right thing for American families. We deserve the same safer cereals other countries get.
I'm school. Are you guys forgetting who this is? Food Babe, the person who made a name for herself by demonizing almost every single ultra-processed food in existence. Just 6 weeks ago, she made a video blending Fruit Loops to make a point to say not to eat it. No mention of food colors, no mention of how to make it healthier, just straight up saying don't consume it. Just look at her posts, always saying don't consume things with vegetable oils, sugar, natural flavors, vegetable oils. But that's funny because Fruit Loops contain sugar, vegetable oils, and natural flavors, all things she tells you to avoid. So why is she advocating for changing the food dyes in a cereal to make America healthy again, when the entire product is full of things she tells you to avoid? Surely if she actually cared, she would just tell you to stop eating ultra-processed foods. She would advocate for making minimally processed whole foods more accessible and affordable. But no, she wants to scare you all into thinking the food dyes are the problem, so you can buy cleaner, safer foods that happen to be her supplement line. Like she did in this same video where she promoted her protein powder instead of Fruit Loops. She contradicts herself at every turn and you're lapping it up. I can't believe you're...
so to comment, shout out Dr. Ids. Nothing against Dr. Ids, but he's bringing up the point that she's thinking we're going to save the health of the US by making processed foods healthier. And this is a point. I mean, he's commented on his platform. He has a pretty large platform. So, I mean, just like his post makes it look like he's anti-food babe, but then he'll clarify, like, no, he's not, like, but it's silly. And the way, I guess, just kind of the approach is like time for school and blah, and very, very negative, right? But I get what he's saying, and that's where we want to provide the context, where I don't think, and we've met Vani, we've talked to Vani through mutual friends and at different events, and I don't think, and this goes back to the point I was making before, this has been an issue for a very, very long time. This is a very, very big ship to turn. And I don't think we're going to do it just right away. I don't think Food Babe, I don't think whoever you're listening to, RFK or any, I mean, keep listening. Dr. Mark Hyman, all these big names in health that we see in the mainstream. I don't think any of them can just be like, all right, everybody, let's turn, and we all just turn it in one day. I think this is going to be a process, but more of us need to talk about it. More of us need to get to work on this. And we all kind of have to put our hands on the wheel. Some of us will have bigger hands and higher places. Some of us will have smaller hands in lower places and help to turn this ship, right? While at the same time offloading the ship and making the ship a little bit smaller over time, and all of us working together in different ways, whether you're an individual mom, you're a grandma, you're an aunt, you're a dietitian, you're a doctor, you're a senator, the list goes on and on. And so what I will say with Dr. Ids is we have to be careful with the thought process of, if it's not perfect to begin with, we shouldn't be saying it. I'm not really for that. And a lot has been made in the organic argument, right? Organic isn't perfect, so what's the point? It's silly. Organic uses pesticides, and so does conventional. What's the point? The point is that we need a stepping stone. The point is that small changes add up to big changes, right? So, yeah, Food Babe is focused on Kellogg's and like Fruit Loops, okay, but we have to start somewhere. It is smart of her and really everyone kind of getting behind this to start somewhere and really just show a juxtaposition to show that, hey, the EU has Fruit Loops with less ingredients than the US. That helps the everyday person go, oh, why? And ask some questions. So I think there's some use to that. I don't think, and again, actually speaking to the person, because everyone's kind of different on Instagram or TikTok or wherever you're seeing them than in person. I don't think Food Babe, and maybe we'll have her on one day, I don't know, but I don't think Food Babe is saying we need to eat Fruit Loops, right? Even if we decrease the ingredients and we need to eat Skittles and we need to eat, no, but the point is, hey, as a low-hanging fruit, as just the bare minimum, if these products are here, let's not add really, faulty, or what's the word I want to use? Yeah, like just overly detrimental products to them, right? Like, yes, they're candies or they're sugary cereals, which we should not be eating. But hey, at the very least, use some beet juice to color them, right? And not a detrimental, red number 40, which we know has deleterious effects to human health, right? I think she's just going for this low hanging fruit that a lot of people can rally behind and get behind. So to kind of comment in a negative way to that, I think it is a little short sighted. I think we need to see the bigger picture here. I think we need to understand the massive. I just think the massive ship that this is, and understand we need to start somewhere, right? Because even Dr. Ids is saying, hey, um, I don't we should eat less processed foods. We should eat healthy. We've been saying that for years and years and years and years. But the issue is there's some really systemic issues here. There's some really systemic conflicts of interest. There's really systemic goals and thought process that aren't in alignment with that. And we need to start hitting that head on. We need politicians to get involved. We need petitions. We need, there is a need for that. And there are people who are called to do that. And I appreciate them. So hopefully that makes sense. I just wanted to add that context. And then there's also this too, which I think was another interesting um that I want to show. And it really kind of breaks down kind of another side to this a little bit. Um Let me show you guys this.
Absolutely dragged in her comment section right now after making this Instagram post. What was the post about, you might ask? Well, it's pretty simple. She was calling on Kellogg to remove harmful artificial food dyes from the cereals sold in the United States. She was citing a food blogger named Vani Hari, also known as the Food Babe, who pointed out that the US version of Fruit Loops has a bunch of artificial food coloring in it, red 40, yellow 5, blue 1, yellow 6, yada yada, Whereas the Canadian version doesn't have those artificial food dyes in it. They use other things to color the Fruit Loops, such as you can see here, concentrated carrot juice, watermelon juice, blueberry juice. So much more, I would say, natural food coloring ingredients. Perfectly reasonable, I think, to question why Kellogg's is selling the most toxic version of the same product in America, but not in other countries. But this triggered quite the backlash in our comment section with a bunch of people, namely nutritionists and PhDs and quote unquote experts, saying that the Food Babe is not a legitimate source, that she's spreading tons of misinformation. So I looked into this a little bit, and there's something you should know about these experts. For example, Dr. Andrea Love. She says, "Hi, Ava Mendez. These ingredients aren't banned whatsoever, and they have been deemed safe across the entire planet. The Food Babe is not a credible source of information on these topics at all." Well, this is Dr. Andrea Love. She's got all the right credentials. She's an immunologist, microbiologist, decades and decades of experience in training and clinical research, yada, yada. But she's also, if you can see here, a columnist for a nonprofit called the Genetic Literacy Project. If you do a little bit of digging, the Genetic Literacy Project has been outed as a PR front for Monsanto, Bayer, and the chemical industry. This is their IRS Form 990, where they have to disclose where they get all their money from. You can see here at the top of the list, number one, biggest contributor, $100,000, Bayer. A little bit of conflict of interest there, eh? Well, let's talk about this lady, Danielle Shine. She is a registered dietitian. She says that, unfortunately, Ava, you've been misled. The Food Babe is not a qualified food nutrition professional. She lacks crucial food, nutrition, and health science knowledge. Without this foundation, everything can appear to be a threat to health, which simply isn't true. Well, something that is definitely true is that, according to the Washington Post, the food industry actually pays these influencer dietitians to shape your eating habits. They say that registered dietitians are being paid to post videos that promote diet soda, sugar, supplements on Instagram and TikTok. And another fact we know to be 100% true, unfortunately, sort of an inconvenient truth, is that the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics has a record of quid pro quo with a range of food giants, with money being tracked flowing from big food into the hands of these nutritionists and dietitians. And guess which company just happens to be one of the highest contributors of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics? Of course, Kellogg's. And so now you see how all these experts work, right? It's pay for play. They can cry misinformation all they want, but the receipts, they don't lie.
So we can't discount money shaping. This started with money, of going food companies wanting to maximize profits, maximize output. It ends with money of, look, we have to be real, of even other fellow registered dietitians taking money. We work with food companies not because we want to promote an agenda, but because we see them as allies and partners. And I have to also assume that too, where there are dietitians or doctors or PhDs who agree with the Genetic Literacy Project, who agree with Kellogg's and want to support them. Okay, but at the same time, as health professionals, you have to look at the research in an unbiased way and understand the effects of these hyper processed foods. It's not like when we partner with, I don't know, a breath testing company and going, this breath testing is amazing, it's helping lots of our patients. There's lots of great research, and going like that's pretty objective, right? It's not really subjective in any way. Then you kind of go to, well, the objective research is showing a lot of these artificial dyes, a lot of these hyper processed, hyper palatable foods are deleterious to health. And then going, well, I'm still going to then support them and partner with them, especially when we have this chronic disease tidal wave hitting us. And most definitely hyper processed foods are part of that tidal wave, right? So it's understanding, okay, what's my responsibility as a health professional in this context, right? In this fight, in this or not even a fight, but in this rebalance, in going, a lot of these diseases that our friends and family are dealing with are lifestyle related diseases. Part of that lifestyle is what you're eating. Part of that lifestyle is being, whether it's through marketing, whether it's through politicians, whether it's through influencers, is being funded to be manipulated to want sugary, salty, fatty foods. And I was one of those kids, guys, and maybe a lot of you can relate. Going to the grocery store, I remember when TV, they made the first like kids focused TV dinner, and I remember being probably a little bit younger than my daughter, who's 9, and begging my mom for that. Like, "Please get me that." And I saw commercials on the cartoons are popping out of the TV and into your food, and when you're a kid, your brain can't differentiate reality from fiction, and part of my brain is going, "That's going to happen when I eat that food." And even the disappointment where I was not the healthiest kid, but once my mom microwaved that plastic tray and I saw the food, it looked it looked so unappetizing. Like, I was like, "Oh my gosh." I think I still ate it, but it was definitely like, "Oh, what am I eating?" Right? And so, again, companies know this. This is a fact, where companies know the power and influence of kids. There's many other countries that have even banned marketing to children, Mexico being one of them. And so it's understanding this. We have this responsibility. We can't just willy-nilly, um, accept money and say things that really aren't true and really discredit others. Where this guy I found on TikTok, he popped up on our TikTok. I don't know this guy's credentials, but it's the facts are there. Anyone can put these facts together and share the facts and go, and me as a health professional for over a decade can go, Those are facts." And I don't care if it's this guy saying it or the president or a senator, they are the facts, and I'm going to share them and proofread them, and we can talk about it, right? And so this goes back to then understanding that we're all working together. This shouldn't be a food babes bad, these other experts are good, moms don't listen to moms, don't listen, only listen to scientists. We can't do that, right? We all have this thing called the internet. We all have, many of us have logical, at least, brains to really take action. And this goes back to then what can you do? And ideally, on an ideal level, you are just opting out. We've talked about this before, of opting out of these food systems, opting out, or let me back up, opting out of these short-sighted food systems, opting out of the short-sighted medical systems, opting out, going even further, short-sighted financial systems. Because I bring that up because the number one cause of bankruptcy is medical debt. And so if you think finances aren't connected to this, it most definitely is. And so it is kind of opting out of these things. But going back to Married to Health, Good Gut Live, me being an integrative registered dietitian, ideally, yes, you're not buying Fruit Loops, right? You're not buying Pop Tarts. You're not buying these mainstream, large multinational corporate foods that really aren't going to do well for you, that really aren't going to be that regenerative nutrition. And at the same time, you're opting out, you're helping your health, and you're not giving money to these companies to then lobby our politicians or hire more influencers. And really what they do is they give money to front groups and super PACs, and then they give the money out so it doesn't look like it's directly from these large multinational corporations. But we know it's happening. We've passed laws to make, you know pretty much unlimited political funding happen from large companies. It's called Citizens United. It's one of the worst pieces of legislation we've ever passed, and it had ripple effects in every industry, including the food industry, including the ag industry. So this is part of the big ship that we need to turn around. And I don't think, getting into my opinion, but based on a lot of research, a lot of evidence, I don't think calling out food companies and saying, "Hey, use better ingredients," is not a horrible start. I don't think, there are others who are helping farmers. There are others who are helping patients one on one, and we're part of that, right? And then there are others who, Vonnie was a mom, right? Food Babe was a mom going like, something's wrong. And she had her own personal health journey that she's shared. And she realized something's wrong with our food. And just like many of us, when we change our food, when we change our lifestyle, we found our bodies changed, our gut microbiome changed, our symptoms changed. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with having a stepping stone of change, especially if it's in the right direction. And that's what really Married to Health and Good Gut Live and our whole tagline of heal with each meal is all about. It's about with every meal, not even with every rally, with every vote, with every politician. It's with every meal you have the ability to change your gut microbiome. That is in the research. Even more important, you have the ability to change your environment. That meal you're purchasing has the ability to send money, take money, move money, and it's powerful and it adds up. So that is really the heal with each meal logic and mantra. And that is what we want to empower you all with. So hopefully, hopefully this is coming through in the right context, right? We're not hating, we're really trying to unify. We need to come together more than ever. It's great we're talking about this and others are talking about this. I think it's wonderful. We need to continue to talk about this. We need full transparency from large companies, from our government. Like when it comes to our health, you need to know what's in your food. You need to know where your food's coming from. We have the technology to do this. We have the power to do this. And if companies don't want to do this, there are other companies that are doing this. So it's opting out. It's going, hey, if Quaker Oats doesn't want to know where they're sourcing and test third party for pesticides, Zigo Foods is an oat company that will do that. And they even created their own app. Shout out Zigo Foods to show you, hey, this is the glyphosate, this is the pesticides, this is where we're sourcing, this is how we're processing, and that full transparency. That is beautiful. That should be the default. And so that is what I think everyone's pushing for. I think Dr. Ids and Food Babe and so many would be like, yes, we want more of that, right? And definitely us. So to summarize and to answer this question, can we fix our food system? Yes. I think many of us have been trying for decades and decades, and I don't think we should turn anyone away. We need everyone we can to help in this fight. If you're a food babe or food grandma or food auntie or food mom, whatever you are, whatever you decide to be and how you decide to help, we need your help now more than ever. Get involved at your church, at your kid's school. But first with you and your home is a great start. And then go out from there. Um, I'm seeing a comment come in. So this is Good Gut Live. So I'm seeing some comments and I'll check some other links. Courtney, what's up? I've got my teens listening in today. Thanks for talking about this. We all just need to do a little bit to learn. It's overwhelming, but little things make a difference. It is. It's a big, big ship, right? It can be extremely overwhelming. Trust me, we've been doing this for over a decade and it can be extremely overwhelming. But what's cool is some resonate with Food Babe. Others, this could be, your teens probably know like Logan Paul, and they're trying to do Lunchly, which is a healthier Lunchable, right? There's so many in their area trying. I don't think Lunchly is like amazing, but I appreciate the effort, right? Who was it? Tom Holland was just on Rich Roll, and he's promoting non-alcoholic beer that's like, locally sourced. I think it's organic. I don't quote me on that. But it's even this idea of the younger generation moving away from alcohol. That's a great, I'm not working on that. Tom Holland, Spider-Man is working on that. Great. And he shares his story about alcohol and being pressured and, Hollywood parties and having to drink alcohol. So he's now making a non-alcoholic drink. Wonderful. That's going to be amazing for gut health and everyone's health and really removing that stigma of having to drink alcohol, right? So everyone's kind of in their own lane, but we can all come together. We can all kind of like give each other that nod and that wink when we see each other, even side by side. What's up, Stacy? So I was there. The change starts with us. Yeah. I mean, oh, were you at the rally, Stacy? That's so cool. At the Food Babe rally. Was that in our I was not aware where that was. I think that was maybe in was it in I don't think it was California Capital, was it? I'm not sure. If you're still on, let us know where that was. Um but yeah, it's so important whether you can show up to a rally. Okay, there's power in that and showing a lot of people come together and really show visually those in power, whether it's our state or federal level, wow, a lot of people care about this. We probably should look into this. There's power in that too. But even like I said, if you're a mom, if you're a dietitian or nurse or doctor, and just becoming more integrative, right? If you don't even know what integrative means, learning more about it, learning more about nutrition, the food you're eating, you start wherever you feel. And I would say a good start is with yourself. That's always a good start, right? Is for strengthening and loving yourself, and then it starts to ripple and diffuse outward a lot easier than you having a lot of issues and struggles, and you're trying to start somewhere else. That you can do that, but it's a little bit hard if you're not okay, right? So if you're someone who is struggling with gut issues or with whatever high blood sugar, heart disease, if you came back from a doctor's visit and they're like, I have plaque and I have PCOS or I have XYZ, start there, right? You're likely listening to this because you've been searching for answers, or maybe you are one of our patients, or you're continuing on your health journey. That's wonderful. You're on the right track, right? That is beautiful. That's why we're here. That's why we have our little corner of the world platform and doing what we can. I want to shout out, make sure you're on our email list. So if you're watching this later on Spotify or Apple or iHeartRadio, wherever you're rewatching this, YouTube, make sure you're subscribed. Go to mary'shealth.com. We're going to be doing an amazing in-person event next year. We're really being called to do an amazing regenerative farm event. So what this event is going to be is the how. We know the why. I think a lot of people know the why, and the why is very important, and that's wonderful. But the idea of the event we want to put on is you go to a conference or you hear a podcast, and maybe you learn more, and then you go in your life and you're like, okay, now what? Well, we want this event to be the now what, right? We want the event to not just be where these amazing doctors and farmers and dietitians and healers come to share the latest research, which is kind of the why. We want it to be where they come and share the latest how. This is how you do it. We've been doing it. This is how you do it. So it's going to be exciting to eat the food from the farm, to be on the farm, to learn on the farm, to just be immersed in the farm and learn more about regenerative nutrition. That's what we're planning for 2025. So make sure you can click down below, go to mary'shealth.com, just click contact us, or way at the bottom, it'll say newsletter, or throughout our website, it'll say get on our newsletter. Just get on our newsletter if you're already not, so you could be the first to know. I hope you enjoyed this topic. I love to do these little solo topics and just talk about really things that are near and dear to my heart. I love talking about things that I'm seeing kind of in the mainstream, which is great. Again, it's not perfect. I don't It's not about perfection for us, it's about progress. Are we making progress? Certified organic, we needed certified organic to get to certified regenerative organic. We need to call out Kellogg's in order to get to a better place where we have a healthier food system. We need to call out politicians and funding so we can reverse bad legislation, right? We need this progress, not perfection. So no one's going to be perfect. We all will never be perfect, but we're going to make a lot of progress, especially together. So thank you all. Courtney saying, can't wait for the event. I can't wait. You're going to be hearing more about it in the coming months and into next year. So we're very, very excited. And yeah, make sure you stay tuned. Again, Good Gut Live is live pretty much every Friday. You can catch us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can learn more about our team of 8 registered dietitians, all with different specialties. If you want one-on-one care, just go to mary'shealth.com, connect with us. And as always, heal with each meal. Until next time. And if there's a topic you want to listen or hear more about, have us comment on, just comment down below. And we are happy to hear your feedback for sure. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful Friday. We'll talk to you all soon. And again, heal with each meal.